Hello and welcome to the latest instalment of the Rangers Supporters Group podcast. I've got Karen and Alan joining me tonight. How are you both?
No bad, thawed out just about.
Got the feeling in your feet again.
Took halfway down the motorway for it to happen, but I got there.
So we're absent last week because we were travelling to Inverness. Hefty journey up and back down the road, so we missed it and we'll just kind of touch on it briefly tonight. Karen, last week we had Essen, Docherty, Hill, Medag, Cornet, McLean, Hay, Arnott, Rowe, Ross, and you and Stanton. Were you happy with that team?
Well, I was, because Vic Essen finally got a game, which was nice. But then after seeing Jenna in the warm-up, I was a bit... Oh, Jenna was doing all right in the warm-up. She was saving all the other shots quite well, so... But it was nice that Vic... Not that she touched the ball, I don't think, at all the entire game, so it didn't really make any difference to her. But it was a good, strong team. I liked that Joe went very attacking, very strong, go out and give it your all, not, I'll put a weak inside out, give, everybody a run out, and it'll be fine, don't worry about it. She seems to be going full pelt in every competition to make sure we get the job done, which is nice.
Yeah, and it was good that she was kind of putting a strong team out after the break that we'd had. I think she kind of needed to put the strong team out, kind of get the minutes back in their legs.
Definitely, I think we've seen all season when we've had a wee break where it's been internationals or whatever, we've sometimes started a wee bit slow in the first game back. Obviously a long journey up to Inverness and then playing on grass at this time of year when the players are not so used to it. It was always going to be a wee bit heavy, but I thought it was a very attacking team. Like Carl said, it was good to see Vic Essen play. It was good to see Jane Ross in the starting lineup and getting the first start, and really strong team right through.
It had 6 goals, was it either side? So quite a few goals to cheer, Car. So the first half we had Jane Ross scoring the first goal, no surprise there. Then we had Kirsty McLean, Sarah Ewens, Jane Ross again, Lizzie Arnott, and Brogan Hay. So quite a few goals. Kind of take a wee while to get started, but as Alex said, travelling up the road and kind of playing on the grass makes it a bit tricky. But once the goals started to come, they just kept coming.
No, it could have been a few more. We had a lot of chances that, just didn't come off for whatever reason, but, they went full pelt at it. Inverness weren't really giving us much trouble, especially down the wings. We were having a lot of joy down the wings with, their wingers just seemed like they couldn't keep up kind of thing, and Sarah Ewens had a lot of joy as well. So, 6 goals in each half, which was good, because normally we'd get 6 in the first half and then just kind of, it's fine, it's done kind of thing. But it was nice that both halves we just went for it, and could have been a lot more, so can't really grumble at that at all.
Oh, definitely. The keeper, as we keep saying, kind of upped their game, Alan, and did have a few saves to make, out with obviously all the goals that she was letting in, but it could have been a lot more, as Carr said, but she had a decent game considering how many she conceded.
Well, definitely, I think credit goes to the keeper particularly, but the whole Inverness backline worked extremely hard to close space down as best they could. But they're all a team that's part time, two divisions below us, and it was all the game played out pretty much as we expected, but no criticism of how Inverness applied himself, and as you say, the keeper pulled off plenty of really good saves, or the score could have been even bigger.
Yeah, Kat, then we'll go to the second half. We had a couple of changes at half time. Ailey Austin, Mia McCauley came on for Nick and Lizzie. So good to get some kind of younger players getting some minutes.
Yeah, I think that was probably always the plan, get to half-time, see where we're at, and then, put some fringe players and some younger players on, see how they got on. And Ailey Austin came on in another role, I kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, like centre forward, centre back, winger kind of role. She was kind of further up the pitch, and she was having a lot of, I keep saying this, a lot of joy, but she was having a lot of joy kind of running the channel with Mia McCauley beside her. They had a good partnership there going, and of course scored a wonder goal as we come on to. But it's nice that the younger players are getting more of a chance. Joe seems to really favour them and give them a lot of opportunities. So I think it's helping, having games like this where Joe can get the opportunity to do that, where the players will step up, score a bunch of goals, and then it gives them the opportunity to come on and get some minutes.
Yeah, I think Ailey was meant to be in that kind of Nick Dock role, but Inverness were just that tired that she was just like, I may as well just stay up pretty much up front and see if I can score. So we had obviously 6 more goals. Rachel Rowe got her second goal, was that in the second half? Jade and Kathy went off. Rio and Michelle came on. Then, as we've touched on, Alan, that wonder goal by Ailey Austin.
Yeah, we were fortunate where we were sitting. In the second half, we'd moved a wee bit closer to behind the dugout, and it was in as soon as it left Ailey's boot. I actually spoke to Ailey briefly after today's game, and she was saying she didn't even think it was that good at the game. It was only after she's watched it back she realised actually it wasn't too bad.
Humble.
There's the confidence of a young player, Car. Just scored a goal. It wasn't that good, was it?
She's been learning from Nick Dock. Just these things happen. It's not that impressive. It just kind of happens.
I think the work from Mia beforehand as well, the way she cut back in and kind of Ailey was running into that kind of space. It was a really well worked goal overall.
I think the fullback still having nightmares for Mia McCauley terrorising her for that second half.
Oh, we kept just sitting there, take her on. Then we came on to Rachel Rose. She got her second goal after Ailey's, and then Rio scored 3 goals pretty much back to back, plus a penalty to Rangers, Car.
Yeah, it was almost a perfect hat trick, I suppose. I mean, it wasn't both feet and a header, but it was close enough. But she, Rio's been tremendous for us. She's leading the charts for goals scored in the league. She must be leading the charts for goals scored in the cup because she got 3 in one game. So she's just tremendous, and she's just so good and exactly what we've needed. That partnership with her and whoever's beside her. It doesn't really matter if it's Kirsty Howitt, if it's Ross, if it's Laura Berry. It doesn't matter who you put beside her. She always seems to be in the right place and can score from seemingly anywhere in the park. So it was nice that we finally got that penalty because there probably should have been one earlier on, but Sarah Ewan scored, so it didn't really matter at that point. But the recruitment that we've done this season has been tremendous, and I think there's probably maybe more to come, but it's already been top class, and the players that we brought in have been incredible for us. So it's just testament to them that it's working out, and they're also having a lot of fun here, scoring a lot of goals. So what more could you ask for from a striker?
Yeah, so a good day all round. 12 goals scored, Alan. We got a hat trick, we got a penalty, and we also got a wee tour of the boardroom at half time. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was very much an unexpected bonus. We were very, very well received by Inverness. And listen, credit to the club for moving that to the Caledonian Stadium. They were well rewarded by a crowd of over 1,000 at the game. It was a novel approach, asking for donations and not selling tickets. And hopefully Inverness made a good wee bit of money off that for the club. But the tour of the boardroom was certainly unexpected. But, a touch of class for Inverness towards us, and it just added something different to a trip.
Quite a view through that boardroom as well, Cara, wasn't it?
I mean, Inverness is stunning, like right on the coast, up in the Highlands, you get some stunning views, but I mean, you wouldn't be mad, if you worked in there and being able to just pop in and look at that, and it's just incredible. But, Scott showing us that when he didn't need to. We were with Wilf and Brian from the Rabble, that he had said, we've been invited up if you want to come, and we've managed to go ahead and see all the pendants and the trophies, and the Iron Brew from them winning the Iron Brew Cup all those years ago. It's just very interesting to hear the story behind it. And, he seems like he does a good job running Inverness. He's obviously got a lot of experience being the CEO of numerous clubs before it. So he's obviously done a really good job. So it was nice. It's a nice touch. You wouldn't get that if you went to, Easter Road or wherever else. You wouldn't get that kind of thing. So it's nice that we got that opportunity. And Inverness did make a day of it. It was nice for their women's team to play there. And, they got seemingly a bigger crowd than they got on Friday, But it's probably not true. But it looked like it on the telly anyway. It looked like it, so we'll go with that.
Yep, so who would be your player of the match, Alan?
I think my vote went to Kirsten McLean, if I remember right. But that's not going to be a surprise to anybody who has watched the team all season. You know, Kirsten McLean tends to get a lot of votes for player of the match, and deservedly so.
Yeah, she did win the player of the match, but was she yours as well, Car?
I don't know, there was that many. We were kind of listing them in the car on the way up, and we kind of listed everyone, and then we went Kirsten McLean all at the same time, as if we'd forgotten about like the wonderful talent that is Kirsten McLean. But obviously she won the poll vote. But there was that many. You could go for Rio, she got a hat trick. You know, Mia McCauley did really well. Kirsten McLean did really well. Jane obviously did quite well. It's just, there's so many to pick from, but I kind of want to go Ailey Austin just purely for that goal because it was just top quality, but I'll go for Rio. She got a hat trick, so you can't really go against that.
Fair enough. So then the draw happened and we drew Dundee United at home to play that game to be played on the 4th of February with kick-off to be decided. After playing them today, you look forward to that game, Car?
I don't actually know if I'm off that day, so I'll need to try and get that day off work. But it should be easy enough. I don't foresee any cup upsets with us in Dundee United if tonight's anything to go by, but you know, on a different day and different weather conditions could potentially be different, but I don't see it, to be honest. So it's going to be a good game, and you know, perfect draw. You couldn't really have asked for much better, to be honest.
Yeah, Alan, are you happy it's a home draw? Less travelling?
Yeah, January is quite busy for us in terms of journeys, so it'll be nice to start the month at home at Broadwood. And I don't think Dundee United would have been delighted with that draw, and I think they'll be even less delighted with it after today.
They'll probably just be getting over the scar tissue today, and then they're like, "Oh, I've got to play them again." So on the note of Dundee United, we obviously played them today, and starting once again in goals was Victoria Essen, with a backline of Docherty, Hill, Medag, midfield McLean, Cornett, Jodie McCleary, Mia McCauley, Megan Bell, Sarah Ewens, and Jane Ross. Happy with that again, Car?
I mean, I was surprised by like a few of the players. I mean, I didn't think Vic would get another start. I mean, obviously she didn't have anything to do in that last game, but I thought maybe she was going to get the cup competitions. I didn't think maybe it would spill into the league, but I guess maybe Joe thought, well, she didn't have anything to do. I'll give her another game and see, you know, how she gets on with that. And then she touched the ball a grand total of about 5 times and didn't have a save to make. So I don't think she's really learnt much from what Vic's capable of from those games. But it was surprising. Obviously, Megan starting for a while. It's been that she started. I can't remember the last game, but looking at the subs bench, you could obviously see there's a few key players missing through what Joe said in the pre-match video was niggles and an injury and, you know, just kind of taking it easy on them. And I think that was probably the right choice. Give, you know, Megan and some other players a wee bit of game time and the rest of them can have a wee rest, you know, with the big one coming up on Friday. But it was a bit of a surprise, but I was happy with it. You know, you could feel probably any different 11 and it'd be the strongest that we could put out because the squad depth and talent is just incredible. So, you know, I wasn't mad at it.
Yeah, Alan, on the bench we had obviously Fife, Hay, Arnott, Austin, Berry, and returning Lisa Martinez and Michelle Colton. So obviously no Libby again, Rachel McLaughlin out, Rachel Rowe out,
Rio.
and Rio. So we obviously quite a few big names out, but with the strength and depth we've got in the squad, we're still going to manage to kind of get the job done.
I don't think the game was ever going to be in doubt today. I think whatever 11 Joe could have picked would have expected him to win and win comfortably. Some of the names missed out were quite surprising, but obviously we went back and we heard Joe's pre-match comments. There was some niggles in the squad, which is understandable. Something we've sort of spoke about before and spoke to Joe after the game about having a big squad and being able to take players out when they've got niggles. We're not in a position where we're having to ask players to play through injuries. So when they're small niggles, we can get them dealt with and healed up before they actually become bigger problems. The only one that seems to be medium to long term out right now is Kirsty Howitt.
Yeah, she's obviously hurt her knee, so she will be out for a wee while, unfortunately. So we started off, the snow came on, the players looked as if they hadn't anticipated that because most of them came out with short sleeves, which was bizarre because it was already cold, so don't know what they were expecting. But anyway, so for the first kind of 19 minutes, it was kind of Dundee sat in that low block and just kind of were inviting the pressure onto them, but and kind of holding us off until Innie managed to get the first goal, but we made kind of hard work of that first 20 minutes.
Yeah, we had kind of half chances. We were kind of knocking on the door, but I don't know, we just seemed to do that thing where we just almost in a horseshoe round the box and just pass it and pass it and pass it and try and walk it in. And credit to the Dundee United defenders because they were taking every shot on the chin, on the thigh. They were just throwing themselves in the way of everything, so it wasn't coming off for us. But it took Kirsty McLean to get the ball from Sarah Ewens and just smashed it. Just smashed it into the far corner I've got written down here, so we'll go with that because I don't know, the far near post, whatever. Far corner, and just absolutely smashed it home, and that's kind of got us going. But it did seem like potentially it was going to be one of those games where we just can't get it going with the low block. We just can't figure out how to break it down. But it took a wee while, but we got there eventually.
And once we kind of started scoring, as we seen with Inverness, Alan, just the goals started coming kind of thick and fast. We had Jane just a few minutes later getting her first of the game.
Yeah, and I'm becoming familiar with a typical Jane Ross goal, just in the right place at the right time. Scored for about 2 yards out, I think, if I remember rightly. And it just gave us that comfort. I don't think the game was ever going to be in jeopardy for us, but it did look at the start of the game like it might be one of the games we were going to struggle to score. But getting the second fairly soon after the first really put the game at ease, and we just sort of grew into the game from there.
Yeah, then after that we had a couple of half chances. I think Sarah Ewens could have had a couple of goals, but she missed. And then Jane got her second of the game, done 32.
Jane Ross got a bang. I know she's been back a couple of games now, but she said in her post-match she's never scored that many goals in one game before, so she's obviously enjoying being back. She doesn't look like she's lost a yard at all. She seems like she's gained 3. She's just that good. But she took a shot, the goalkeeper saved it, and then she got the rebound. And that's what Jane does. She's a poacher, she's a pouncer, that's what she does. She's just in the right place at the right time. She always follows up, second ball. She always does what she needs to do to make sure the goal comes rather than just, I took a shot, it didn't come off, fine, I'll try again later. It's just what Jane does, and that's why we love her, because she gets you that many goals because she's in the right place at the right time, and that's what we're exactly going to need from her for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Then just a minute later, Alan, Sarah Ewens finally got on the score sheet to make it 4-0.
Yeah, it was good to see Sarah get back on the score sheet. I was saying at the game to both of you and Graham that it's in kind of strange form coming back after Christmas, where she's involved in everything, but the ball just seems to be sort of bouncing off her and not really giving her a break of the ball. So she's unlucky not to have scored twice before we opened the scoring, but seeing her finally get on the score sheet, it was a really good finish, was encouraging. You start a game with 2 strikers. Once you get both of them on the score sheet, you're definitely happy with that.
Yeah, so we went in at half time, 4-0 up, After the kind of Sarah Ewens goal, there was kind of that lull again in the game that we were just kind of reverted back to the passing round about the box and not much really happening. We were having an interesting chat that had nothing to do with football. But we went in 4-0 up at half time. But we could have been a bit more. Should have had more goals.
Yeah, we should have. And there was a few long range efforts that were very high and wide of the target, shall we say, one from Kirsty McLean, one from Sarah Ewings. It just looked like they were trying to be Nick Dock, but they were either too close or they just didn't hit it right, or maybe it was slightly windy down there, I don't know, maybe the coldness of their foot, they couldn't feel their feet well enough to hit it properly, but they were flying all over the place. But you can't really argue with 4-0. I mean, it's 4 goals, it's, a couple of good ones. You can't really argue with that. We did have a nice, interesting chat about the good old days as if we're 65 years old and we're not in our 30s, but it shows how entertaining the game was that we were sitting having chats about school tuck shops and whatnot while the game was going on, because there wasn't much happening after the last goal. But it's just the way that games go sometimes.
Yeah, Mia also had a bizarre shot that went nearly into the top of the stand, never mind anywhere else. But yeah, maybe it was just the coldness in the feet. But then Mia did get a goal just after half time. Alan, we came out firing quite quick. The feet must have warmed up by then.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was a through ball for Nick Dock, which I think if you go back and watch our highlights was an absolutely tremendous through ball. Mira gets played into acres of space and she's cutting inside and into pretty much an empty penalty box. And I said to you at the game, I'd no doubts that was going to end up in a goal for Mia. I think she thoroughly deserved that. I thought she gave the fullback a torrid time. And in fairness to Dundee United's fullback, I think she gave as good as she got with Mia. But Mia kept knocking at the door and eventually started getting the better of her. And that goal was the least that Mia deserved from today's game.
Yeah, it was I think what you could say, a typical Mia goal. She just seems to be able to curl it right into whatever corner she wants. So, yep, good for the youngster. Then it's 62 minutes, Jane Ross got her hat trick. Because of course she did, Car.
She did, and in the fashion that only Jane Ross could. It was a free kick. Megan kind of takes it. It was quite a nice free kick routine. I was expecting Megan to just fire it into the box and hope somebody got on the end of it, but Megan gives it to Jodie, who, takes kind of a low shot. Jane's in the right place at the right time and back heels it into the net. What more could you ask for? Just superb. And the wee celebration afterwards was incredible. She had a wee running thing, which was quite nice to see. It seems like she enjoyed that. So it's always nice to see Jane getting a hat trick, and then more, as we'll come on to.
Yeah. She didn't stop there, did she?
No.
So then at 68 minutes, we had some subs. On came Lizzie Arnott, Brogan Hay, and Michelle Coulson. Off went Jodie, Kathy, and Mia. A well-earned rest for the youngsters, and Kathy just still kind of coming back from injury, Alan.
Yeah, I think with 4-foot sort of wide players, we're going to see a lot of rotation, both in terms of starting and no playing in 90 minutes. It's a demanding role, especially as there are more wing backs as opposed to wingers this year. So we're expecting a lot from the wide players, and with having all 4 of them fit, I expect you're going to see all 4 of them play every single week. So nothing surprising about the subs that came on.
Yeah, I think we were a bit surprised. Jane was still kind of on after she'd got her hat trick. We thought that'll be her going off, but nope, she got to stay on. Unlike Sarah Ewan, she scored, and then I think she was due to go off anyway, card, but she scored, got her second of the day, and then off she went.
Yeah, I think we kind of joked about that, didn't we, though? Jane's on 2, she'll probably get subbed now, and then we said the same about Sarah Ewens, and it did actually happen, but just the way some things go. This was a bit of a weird one. She took a shot, it was cleared off the line, and then gets to it and scores it, but we were expecting her to kind of smash it and it maybe go over or whatnot, but it went in and she scored another goal. She's an enigma, Sarah Ewan. She scores a lot of goals and some really good goals, but then sometimes gets a bit in the way and can't get the ball at her feet. So she's obviously not the finished article, but she's contributing, which is all that we can really ask for. Doesn't matter who she's beside, she seems to be okay with it. So we'll see how she gets on the rest of the season, and hopefully she'll get a few more goals.
Yeah, she seemed to block a lot of goals, getting in the way rather than moving it the way, but she did contribute, so we'll let her off it. So then Laura Berry came on for Sarah Ewens, almost scored. I think it kind of came back out, and then Jane Ross was there to eat up the scraps, as always, Alan.
Yeah, I think Jane doesn't like seeing Rio at the top of the scoring charts and is determined to make up for lost time. So most of Jane Ross's goals today were typical poachers' goals. And as you've already touched on, our third goal for the hat-trick was just sublime. It was a touch of class, and it was the sort of thing you'd expect they're always trying in training, but you don't usually see players doing that in games.
Yep, then we had another substitute, Ailey Austin, getting some more minutes, Nick getting a wee rest. And then Kirsty McLean, who I don't think had their best game today, Carl. I think she was a bit below par. She was an 8 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. So they all have these kind of games, but she almost scored. It just kind of hit off the crossbar and went out, which I think kind of summed up her day a wee bit. She just wasn't at her best, probably.
No, she wasn't, but I think we've just come to expect her of being top class all the time. Like, she's allowed to have a game where she's not quite there when it's freezing, it's been snowing, she's been kind of running a bit daft, trying to get the ball. Still doing a lot of things right and still doing everything that she's expected to do, but just not quite at the level we've come to expect of her. But I think she's allowed a little bit of slack now and again because of how good she normally is. So, no hard feelings towards her, but if she can pick that back up for Friday, that would be great.
I think she will, to be honest.
Thanks.
What she was saying after the game, I think she will. So then, 89 minutes, Jane Ross just has never finished and got her 5th goal of the game and her 9th goal of the game, Alan. She just was, as you say, trying to beat Rio, I think, at her own game and get as many goals as possible.
Yeah, again, it was Dundee United were getting really tired by this point. We were having a lot of chances, and there's a lot of sort of busy periods in their box where there was a lot of shots and blocks and missed shots, and it was just Jane being in the right place at the right time in between the posts. And if your chances falter, then 9 times out of 10 they're going to hit the back of the net.
Yeah, definitely. Car, obviously, we said it before. We were like, wait till Jane Ross comes back, and then obviously, like, kind of Kirsty Howitt gets injured, and people are like, oh, Kirsty's out, and then Rio's kind of got picking up knocks, but we're not worried, are we? Jane Ross is there, so we're fine.
I know, we always said that people would always kind of casually follow the women's team or whatever, would always say Kirsty Howitt's the best striker that we've got, and we'd always say absolutely not. Jane Ross is by a big margin, in my opinion. And she seems better than she was in the year that we won the title, in my opinion. She just seems to have gained so much from being out with this injury. I don't know if she was reading a lot of books or what she was doing, or if she was just, once she was back running, she was doing sprints every day, because she just seems that quick. And obviously she's kind of missed a lot of football, so she's now kind of making up for lost time, as Alan said, and she's scoring a lot of these goals. But you can tell that she's loving it. She's enjoying being back playing football for Rangers and having the support and the supply that she's being provided is more than I think she was the year that we won the league. She was making a lot of the chances, or Lizzie was providing a lot of chances for her. But now a lot of the other players are providing her chances, or she's creating her own. She was coming deep quite a lot, which I was kind of annoyed about a little bit. I was saying she should be further up and Sarah Ewan should be coming deep to get the balls to her, but it didn't seem to hinder her at all today. She probably could have had more, to be honest. She had a lot more shots that were kind of saved or went a little bit wide or whatever, but that's just what Jane Ross does, and I just hope that the rest of the season she just continues that trajectory and just shows everybody what we've been missing with Jane Ross being out.
You both saw Jane play in the season that we won the league. Did she often play as a 2? Or was she up front on her own?
That was Malky, so it was more kind of through the middle on her own. But a lot of the time she was hitting the keeper, we would be like, oh, here she goes, hitting the keeper again. But she seems to just be like hitting everywhere but the keeper now, which I don't know if she's maybe found a book about like finding the corners or something, but she seems to have just come back. Maybe it's because she's missed it and she's like, right, I just need to fire in all these shots. But yeah, I agree with you. She's just seems like a different kind of player that we've got back. Maybe it's the competition. Before she never really had that competition because Kirsty was injured with her ACL. So there wasn't anybody that was really going to take her place, whereas now she knows Rio's there, hungry for goals. Kirsty's been scoring goals. Laura Berry's hungry to come through. Sarah Ewens, when Sarah Ewens wants to be at her best, can score goals. But so maybe it's that kind of competition. She's had to step up her game, but it's certainly working. And 5 goals in one game, which she's never done before, shows that even at her ripe old age that she is, she's still managing to tick off things off her list of
Do you think
achievements.
she's benefiting like Kirsty has with having more people around about her in the centre then?
Yeah, definitely. I think it probably suits her more to have that kind of partner so that she's not having to do all the work. And it's paid off.
I think that helps a lot, and I think Jo and Jay have obviously helped managerially compared to what was there before with Malky and whatnot. I think the training and everything is all centred around scoring as many goals as possible, which is what Jane does. So I think that'll help as well, that she knows that she's going to get a lot of support and a lot of, balls through, and people are always going to be trying to find her if she's on the pitch, and it's working. So we just need to keep going. Obviously, it's Dundee United, so it's not that big. But she could have scored 5 goals in probably any game the year that we won the league, but she didn't because she wasn't getting as good of a service. But now I think this probably won't be the last time that she scores 5 goals in a game. She probably should have had 6 or 7. It just didn't quite work out that way. But, for her to score that many and be so buzzing about it is just tremendous.
But Karen, as well, for that season when we won the league, we weren't as ruthless anyway, so she wouldn't have had the opportunity because Malky was happy to be like 2 or 3 up and then be like, just sit back, we've won the game. Whereas Jo's like, no, you keep going. You give everything, every single game and score as much. Jo and Jane both said that they were happy at how ruthless it had been, but they still could have had more goals. So that's the mentality that she's drumming into them to be like, 5, 6 goals isn't enough. Just keep going. Like if you're going to get chances, create chances, then take them, or at least take the shot. And if it goes in, the goal difference is up.
Yeah, I think that is the difference. To be honest, I think it is the managers being like, I hate this phrase because it's connected to them, but like we're never going to stop. You're just always going to keep peppering the goal and see what comes off. And I think Jane has that mentality anyway, but I think before with the manager being like, oh, it's fine, just kind of sit deep a little bit once we're a few up and kind of protect that. Whereas now it's like go all out. And Jo obviously loves when they take a risk and try something, because she was shouting that from the sideline. Somebody hit a shot or something that didn't quite come off, but she said, I love it. Like she wants them.
Jodie was like, in and they were all like high fiving, and even though she never scored, but like she'd obviously done what they practiced and training or something. So
yeah, she's obviously asking them, go and take risks, go and try things, and it's coming off. And I think having that freedom and that mentality of you're just going to try and take as many chances as you can. And I think we're going to need to. The goal difference, obviously, last year became a thing, and we don't want it to become a thing this year, but it'll be helpful. We've obviously cut it down a lot because of this game, and I think that's helpful. But points on the board are the most important thing. But Jo and Jay have definitely got it instilled in them, go and score as many, and I think Jane loves that mentality.
Yeah, but then we did have one more goal just on the kind of cusp of full time with Brogan just getting a wee goal just to finish it, to make it a nice round number of 10.
Yeah, and as I said about one of the last goals, Dundee United were struggling at this point in the game. They were desperate for a final whistle, and they were struggling to get the ball clear. And the ball broke to Brogan just on the edge of the box. She just took a touch, set herself, and found the bottom corner. So really crisp finish for Brogan, and she's started the year looking to add goals to her game by the looks of it. So long may that continue, because the more goals we get from throughout the team, the better it's going to be for us.
Yep, so finished 10 now. Could have been about 20 card, but we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, we can't be greedy, but obviously the predictor, we'll come on to it, but we all had different numbers. So once it hit mine, and then it went to yours, and then it went above that, and we're going, well, just give us 10 then. I'm not thinking it would actually happen, and then it happened, and we're all just buzzing about it. Can't ask for much more. It was freezing cold, but it certainly helped that we had a wee boogie after each goal with a goal song. I think Nick has it ingrained in her brain because when she came over to speak to us at the end, she was singing it, so it's obviously just in her mind because of how often it was going off today. But you can't ask for much more. It's exactly what we needed, and hopefully that puts us into Friday. They're all in training, buzzing, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, Alan, you had the pleasure of speaking to Joe again and Jane Ross.
Yes, I did. The club gave us the opportunity to continue doing this to the end of the season. So it was a fantastic wee boost at the start of the year for us to be offered that opportunity. So we were part of the sort of fan media post match where we spoke to Joe and to Jane Ross alongside Stevie for 4 lads. So hopefully I'll get many more opportunities like this through the season. But I'll play the interview with Joe first.
Our Rangers manager, Joe, 10-0 today. What did you think of that performance?
Yeah, I was pleased. I thought, I asked our players to be ruthless before the game, and at half-time I asked us to not take our foot off the gas. I think it was important for us to put on a display today and have a performance that we can be proud of going into Friday. So, yeah, I was impressed. I think we stepped up again a level from last week at Inverness. So I'm looking forward to Friday now.
Seems like a silly thing to say, but 10-0, there was a lot of chances also missed. Did that please you, not only the goals taken, but we could have had so much more today?
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I was saying to the girls. And you look at Jane Ross, she scored 5 goals today. She could have probably had 7 or 8. Yep. That's the scary thing about it. But, the beauty of it is that she's in those positions and we're creating those chances. And I said to him, no, don't be happy with just scoring 1 or 2. I really want you to be ruthless and start taking chances. And, sometimes it's tough when it gets to a part of the game to just take your foot off the pedal. But we didn't today. We stayed on it. And I thought even the subs coming on just brightened it up again. So it's really nice that we can use our squad and keep pushing forward.
Speaking of the squad, a few players missed out today, likes of Rio and Rachel. Obviously spoke to him beforehand. They said it was just not. So you confident that you'll have a few back going into Friday night's game?
Yeah, I hope so. They're important players for us. Yep. You look at the top goal scorer in the league, and when Rowie plays, everyone's very excited about her and her performances. So, they're important players for us, but should they not make it, then you can see the talent that we had out on the pitch today. They can still step up and produce, and I think that's the beauty of this squad that we've got right now is everyone's competing for a position, so they know that they've got to perform when they step out on that pitch, and they're starting to do that now.
Speaking of talent, Joe, a ball got fired at you around about 77 minutes and you still got it?
Always. I don't know about that. My foot was a bit numb, so I didn't even feel it.
It was a cold day today. I suppose just finally, that all joking aside, that is the most impressive thing I think today when we keep going towards 90 minutes, the subs come on and then they put in a performance. Everybody fighting to perform for their place in this team. 10 goals in the afternoon, people might look at it and say, well, it sounded like an easy afternoon, but the girls kept going and going and going. That overall probably what impressed me the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the same for me. I think when you look at it on a whole, like Dundee United aren't a 10-0 team to play against. You make it very tough. But some of our goals were excellent today. And I think that's the difference when we're saying we could have scored more goals. But you look at it in the quality of our goals, even last week against Inverness, it's exactly the same. Doesn't matter who we're playing against, we're trying to produce performances that are very good and high quality standards. So I think, you look at the goals today, they were excellent and still creating these chances in and around the final third, which is only going to put us in good stead.
Brilliant. Jane Ross completed 90 minutes for the first time. You must be delighted that she's getting minutes in the legs and she's looking better and better.
Absolutely.
Each week.
Yeah, I think it's really important for us. As I say, I think when a player's coming back from a long-term injury, it can be tough. Sometimes it's difficult to get these players minutes should they need them. But as it's happened, it's managed to work out pretty well that we've managed to progress her very well over the last few weeks and to get her up to 90 minutes now. And Sarah's had a couple of 90 minutes that we're just firing all cylinders there, along with Rio, who's obviously just got a little bit of a knock. Hopefully she'll be back. But is Kirsty just missing out now with a bit more of a medium-term injury? So it's scary, the firepower that we can have, and having Jane getting through 90 minutes is brilliant for us.
Having a big squad is obviously giving you a chance to take players out when they do have little niggles and hopefully keep them fit longer term.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at it and we can start to rest players in certain areas to keep them fresh for different games, and picking players for their experiences for different games that they can bring to the pitch. And I think we look at it, and having a fighting fit squad day in, day out is the big thing for me, that they're competing day in, day out on the training pitch, and that's what helps us bring that performance on a Sunday.
Looking at developing players, you must be delighted with the impact some of the loan players are having at other clubs.
Yeah, definitely. Would you know what, it says a lot when we've got managers and clubs fighting for our youngsters to go to their teams. So we have really good relationships with our loan players out at different teams, and at most of the other teams, they're big impact players for their squad. So yeah, we keep a tight look on those and how they're being used and how we can help, because they still come in and train with us a couple of times a week, so we still get a hold on it. And I think it's really important that those relationships happen so we can keep our youngsters playing, but still in and around our environment to still learn our way as well.
Lastly, I have to ask, you think we're in a good place for the next game? Now we can look forward to that?
Absolutely. I think we're always in a good place. I think that the trajectory we've come on is tremendous. The players are in good spirits. They know that we don't look too far ahead. They know that if we perform and we do exactly what we should do, that it'll be a really good game for us. So, one thing's for sure, that they're always going to give their all out on that pitch, and then our quality needs to shine through on the end of that. So we're always hopeful coming into these games. I think we've got to have a lot of confidence, but not get too far ahead of ourselves, because we know it can be a really tough battle. So yeah, as ever, confident, but we've got to get the job done first.
Brilliant. Best of luck, Joe.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Our Rangers manager, Joe.
So that's what Joe had to say to us after the game. He seems very happy with performance, unsurprisingly, and quietly confident, I think, heading into the semi-final on Friday.
I love Jo, by the way. See the way she speaks, it sucks you in, and you just want to listen to her all day. It's not sound bites, it's not like, that's genuinely how she feels and the way that she views things, and it's a breath of fresh air every time you listen to her. She's just so good.
Also, I said about the loan players and the Rangers way of playing. Yep. She's got us sold, like. Have you got Jane's interview?
Yeah, we'll go on to Jane. Just play that just now.
5 goals today. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just loving being back on the pitch, to be honest. Obviously, to get on the score sheet is great also, and contribute to the win.
How did you think it went this afternoon? Probably a silly question, 5 goals and 10 goals for the team, but overall performance and things, getting good habits in before Friday and things like that, was that the main objective towards today?
I think we've spoke about it, all season, obviously, since I've come back. Like, our standards are the same every game, regardless of the opponent. So we obviously have key principles and a philosophy that we want to implement in every game. And so, I think first half we were a little bit sloppy and slack with some of our passing, but I think in the second half we dominated and managed to find those.
Yeah, that's what I mean about the good habits, because you don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. You have to go and win the game, but you could tail off, 4-5-0. You could settle up and say, okay, that's us for today. But the team kept going, and there's more goals came right at the end. And this is the kind of standard you want to set going forward, not only for big games when they come like Friday night, but to be ready for any game that comes along.
Yeah, as I say, I think we're growing and developing every week with Jo, if I'm being honest. I think you can see that in the performances. And as I say, there's key habits and behaviours that she wants to be seeing, and for us to be playing in a certain way, so that, in every game, regardless of the opponent. Just
the last one from me. We have to talk about it, that flick. We spoke about it off camera, but on camera. Silva did one for Man City yesterday, but I don't think he has a patch on that one.
I mean, his was a delightful finish. So, it's obviously very nice to be getting compared to Silva here. But, it was just quite instinctive from me. And it was a great cross in from Jodie in the first place. So, nice to have obviously put it in the net.
So, you've completed 90 minutes for the first time since you've been back. How do you feel?
Yeah, at the moment, fine. Maybe ask me that tomorrow. But no, it's obviously great to now have had 90 minutes under the belt. I've been slowly building the last 3 games, my game time. So to now get the 90 minutes and to complete that, yeah, I feel fine. Good.
Since you were injured, the crowds have grown quite a bit. So there's a lot of new faces just finding out this is what Jane Ross does and scores goals. It must be good to play in front of a much bigger crowd than you saw before.
Yeah, it's definitely grown. I think we see with attendances week in and week out that, yeah, we're attracting a number of fans, and there's a lot here who wait around at the end of matches also, who want signatures, who want photos, who are here to support us as players, and it's great to see, and yeah, we love it.
Do you feel that today's a perfect preparation for Friday?
Yeah, I think obviously winning the game 10-0 is great. As I say, I don't think our first half, we could have been a little bit better. We were a little bit slack at times with our passing, and yeah, maybe could have scored a few more goals. But yeah, I think that's our high standards, and yeah, our performance obviously 10-0 going into Friday is good prep.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Jane.
Thank you.
So biggest takeaways from the interview with Jane is that she's humble even after scoring 5 goals. She's quick to praise the quality of the service she's getting for Jodie, and just keen to talk about how the team could be better. We were slack in the first half and how they want to just keep going and keep getting better. So very encouraging. Just anytime we're getting to speak to any of the players, just the attitude that seems to be prevailing in the full squad.
Yeah, even when we're scoring loads of goals, they're still pushing for more, which is what you kind of expect at a club the size of ours. 10-0, 12-0, whatever the score is, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, there is, and you know, it's funny because when we won the league, Jane didn't really stop and speak to people. She was very kind of shy. She didn't really take the accolades that she rightly deserved. She wasn't one for having a wee chat very often. She'd, say thanks for coming and kind of move on. But she's obviously grown quite a lot since then and enjoying the fact that more people are coming and will stand and have a conversation about it and will kind of take the accolades now and will take the praise, whereas before she'd be like, oh, the team did well or whatever, but now it's all, it did no bad, So it's nice to see that she's obviously, her confidence has grown a wee bit, not on the pitch, but as a person, because obviously her confidence on the pitch is just incredible, but, it's nice to hear that she's enjoying it.
Yep, so thanks again to the club for allowing us to have this opportunity. Player of the match, Car, need I ask?
Jane Ross. I mean, if she'd only scored 1 goal today and it been the heel flick, it would have been Jane Ross. So, I mean, it's got to be Jane Ross. I mean, a few other players did have really good games. Frick Essen did a really good job, and I'm kidding. No, she did a lot of running. She probably could have come up and taken a free kick if she needed to, but Jane just top marks all round. Probably could have had a couple of more, and just an incredible player. Nice to get 90 minutes under her belt. Hopefully she does the same on Friday and scores a few goals on Friday too.
Yeah, it's got to be Jane Ross. For me, Alan, you making that a hat trick like Jane Ross?
Yeah, I was going to throw in Vic Essen, but Car stole my thunder. So I had spoke to Car just before you came in before the game and said maybe this week we'll see the Jane Ross hat trick we could have saw last week, and then she'd just blow that out of the water with 5 goals. So I think there's only one choice.
Definitely, Jane Ross, player of the match. Car, do you want to just run through the loan review for this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite funny that Joe was saying in our post-match there with Alan that, they have a great relationship and he's enjoying that the players are, being front runners at the clubs that they're at, because most of them didn't play today. So, it's not great. I mean, Mason Clark did start and played the full 90 minutes. Rebecca Taylor was a sub. She came on in 52 minutes. They lost 4-0, so not great. Mason did, however, score last week in the cup game that they had against Kilmarnock. A very good goal again. So if anybody wants to go and watch that, they can watch that. Megan Cunningham started. Gianna Ferguson was a sub. Didn't play. They won 2-0. Partick Thistle. Lucy Inman didn't play. They had a 1-1 draw. I think for the first time in forever, they've been winning every game that they've had, but you know they won. They had a draw 1-1. Summer Laird didn't play for Spartans, so not great. But you know, nice that Mason Clark, who is clearly doing very well at Hamilton for them, is getting 90 minutes and playing full games. But disappointing for the rest to not.
So
not be
the Lone
playing.
Report, Mason Clark's the front runner, the rest, what he's played it.
Megan Cunningham pretty much plays most of the games, other than their other keeper does get an odd game here and there. But I kind of forget that Megan's still our player, to be honest, because it's been a wee while since she was even at us, obviously with her being firefighter and whatever else. So it's a weird situation. So we'll see what happens with that in the summer. But it's more disappointing, I think, for Summer, because obviously she played last week and then she's not playing again. So she's not getting a lot of game time, which I think is a bit annoying that there's obviously a player, the same Jenna Ferguson, there's obviously a player there, but they're not really getting as much minutes as they probably like.
Yeah, disappointing, but I suppose it builds that resilience for when they come back to us, and whether they stay or whether they go out to other clubs again or whatever. So, Alan, have you got the scores? I know you were in just before the podcast, so you might not have had a chance to look at it, but any scores for us this week?
No, not been able to look at a score predictor, but for anybody that doesn't know the scores, Glasgow City beat Spartans 5-1 away. Celtic won 9-0 against Montrose. As Carl's mentioned, Hamilton lost 4-0 at home to Hibs. Hearts won 3-0 away at Motherwell. And Partick beat Aberdeen 2-0. So I don't think there's any great shocks is there. So I'd expect a fairly high scoring round. Imagine by the time anybody's reached 52 minutes and watching the pod, then it'll already be on Facebook.
Yeah, I think I was a few goals off a lot of scores, so annoyed at that one, but hey ho.
I'm the same.
It's the way it is. So up next we have just the small task of a semi-final against our arch rivals, Car. It's at Airdrie. Tickets are on sale via Airdrie, as always. I think there's still tickets available, so get along, support Rangers. Look forward to the game, Car. Do you think we're going to change the team a lot, or kind of the same as today?
I mean, I imagine if Rio and Rachel Rowe are fit enough, I think they'll come back into the starting lineup. I think Jane Ross will retain her place. The only thing I don't know about is the goalkeeping situation. If she'll put Jenna back in, or if she'll keep Vic in. But I'd imagine she seems to favour Jenna, so I'd imagine she'd put Jenna back in. But other than, if they're fit, if they're not fit, then I imagine it'll probably be the same as today. I think Mia more than deserves to start on Friday. She's been an incredible talent for us, not scared to take anyone on. I think that could be really beneficial for us. Potentially Brogan might start because she does offer the same thing that Mia does, just on the other side, so potentially could be a good option for us. But I think Jo could put any team out there and they'd run through a brick wall for her. She's got me wanting to, so I can see why they, are inspired by her to go ahead and do it. So I'm feeling fairly confident as long as the team goes out and plays the way that they can play it and not get sucked into their game. And hopefully that'll be easy enough and we'll be into the final right before Alan's birthday and we can all have a nice birthday celebration with Alan for the final.
Yeah, Alan, we'll just touch on the goalkeeping situation there, because last week we were thinking of Vic's back in because she's going to be like the cup goalkeeper. But does that kind of change a bit when it's Celtic and it's a semi-final, or does Vic get to keep her place because she's kind of playing the cup games?
I'm not sure. The last time Vic came in, she played 2 games and then went back out. So that makes me think maybe the same will happen. So I'd probably put my money on Jenna being in because she's played most of the season and she looks like she just came back for a break, in good form. Carl touched on some of the saves she was pulling off in the warm-up at Inverness last week. It's like, where on earth did that come from? But certainly I'd be confident with either. And I think we've adapted well to how the Celtic team like to play and put a lot of pressure on set pieces. That's got to be key to keeping the door shut at the back. We've obviously went a run of clean sheets. We've not conceded a goal for a while. So I think we're in a good place. Always very nervous going into these games. You know, there's a lot of scar tissue for recent years going into Old Firm games. But I think if we turn up and perform and put the work in and work hard enough, then we should be looking for a party in March.
Yeah, I think if we get Libby and Rachel Rowe, the kind of wee ankle biters back in, Rio back in, who's on fire now, with Jane Ross firing goals, I think we should be all right, to be honest. But these games can throw up anything. I think the scar tissue's kind of healed over Card the last couple of games. I think we've won the last 2 games at Airdrie, so we can make it 3. Hopefully, if we've got everybody back in, fit and firing.
Yeah, I'm not as nervous as I probably would have been, last season or even, the season before. Obviously, we won the league unbeaten, but, the cup competitions, we lost both of them to Celtic. So there was scar tissue there, but now I'm fairly confident in this team with Joe and Jay at the helm. They've just got a new manager in. Will she come in and kind of rip things up and change the way they're playing, and that could potentially derail them a little bit? We won't know, because I think it was the other guy that took charge today in their game against Montrose. So that could potentially be a banana skin for them, but it doesn't matter. We just need to go out and do what we can do and not get sucked into their playing for headers from corners or free kicks or whatever it is, and just focus on defending, and then the goals will come. That shouldn't be a problem. So I think we'll be a bit better suited now. We seem to be all right against them.
Yeah. Score prediction then, Alan?
I was hoping you were only going to ask that this week. As nervous as I am about a game, let's see a bit of a statement, man. Let's go 3-0.
Car?
It's tough because I want to be super confident, same as Alan, but something tells me it's just going to be like a 2-1 or a 1-0. There'll be one goal in it and it'll be nervy. But knowing Jane Ross, she'll score in the first minute again like she did a couple of years ago, and then the rest of the game nothing will happen and it'll be fine. But I don't know, I think it'll not be as close as a goal will tell the story of, but I think it'll probably be like a 1-0 or a 2-1. I'll say 1-0 just so we don't concede.
I'm going to say 2-0 Rangers. Slightly confident, but not overly confident. And I feel like we might actually keep a clean sheet for a change, so we'll see. I'll probably be wrong. We'll probably concede and then have to bring it back or something. But so yeah, fairly positive. Obviously, the tickets are on sale. I think it's also on Sky Sports, is it?
Yeah. That's why it's moved to Friday.
Yeah. So for all those that ask, is this game on the TV? Yes, it is. You can watch it, but you want to get along and sit in the freezing cold Excelsior Stadium at Airdrie, really. So get the tickets, get along, support the girls, hopefully into a final for a big party for Alan's birthday.
Hopefully.
So with that, I'll thank Kat and Alan for joining me for this one.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Lauren.
I will see you on Friday, hopefully. See you later.
See you soon.